This episode of the MOC Squad was filmed in front of a live, members-only audience. Well, hello, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to another episode of the MOC Squad, the members-only chat here.
Another long delay.
After an extended delay, our apologies for that. Rob was digging the mines and dug his way out of his.
That's true. I was in Moria,
and so, but between travels, between congratulatory completion of True Noir and trips to Portland and also trips to CinemaCon. Rob has been a busy man, so welcome back, Rob.
Thank you. It's nice to be back. Nice to be. I don't have to go anywhere now.
So nice to finally be settled down. You've also been on the Campia show a lot too recently.
Yeah,
so you've been busy with that.
Yeah, 4 days a week in the Monday through Thursday, which is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Gives me structure to my day.
Yeah,
it's quick. I'm in and out, like in an hour. So that's been good.
That's good.
Yeah, I enjoy being back on there. I feel like the show is really. I like the structure of it now. Mm-hmm. It's very. John has it working like a nice clock, and it's good.
Good, and I'm sure a lot of the PGS members are happy to see you back there because I think a lot of people appreciate what you bring to the camp.
And now I can be more. I can this coming week. I've been trying to get. I can now start doing more of our own show, more observations. You'll see a lot more of me there. Now that basically all of my responsibilities have been responsibilied.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Now I just have to work on perks. Get that Blu-ray out and the soundtrack album and the script book, and which is fun. It's fun doing all that stuff. So
yeah. Well, cool.
And there's other things we're working on as well, other True Noir related things.
We can't wait to hear more about that, but I know that a lot of this stuff has to be staying on the QT for now.
Yes.
Yeah. So, well, for our friends who are watching us on YouTube, welcome. Remember, this is a members-only chat, so if you are a member, you get a invitation in the member section of the PGS of the Burnettwork on YouTube, so that you can join us in the actual Zoom call here. Otherwise, you can view the conversation and interact with us through the YouTube chat. We usually stream for like about an hour and a half, 2 hours or so, and then we continue the chat offline. So that some folks like to go on live, some folks like to wait until we're offline to interact. To join, yeah. And so I will be letting everybody into the chat in a moment here. Remember, as you come into the chat, you have the gestures in Zoom to indicate that you want to have a chat with Rob. Just raise your hand with the gestures there, and then you'll get 7 minutes with Rob. Ooh. So let's go ahead, and we got a healthy array of members joining us today. So I'm going to go ahead and admit everybody. I know this is one of Rob's favorite parts here. So here we go.
That's the best part.
Welcome, everybody. We're boom, bringing everybody in. Welcome. And again, if you're wondering, hey, how do I get in there? Become a member of the channel, and then you'll get the invitation.
For as low as 99 cents a month.
99 cents a month. Come on. So
it's a bargain.
You can't eat. What else can you get for 99 cents a month nowadays? So
not now with all the tariffs.
Yeah.
All the stuff you used to be able to get for 99 cents.
That's right.
Now they're $3.
So let me go ahead, Rob. I'm going to put you on. Sorry. I got a notification here that I don't recognize. So, but I'm going to go ahead and put Rob in the main stage here. There we go. And we are starting things off with our good friend. What's going on here?
We don't know.
I don't know. I'm getting a weird notification here. So I am going to go ahead and have Joey join us. Joey, you should be able to join the conversation now. Welcome, Joey.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, dude?
Not much. Same as always.
Same as always? Well, my boy Russell Wilson's gone to your rival team there, and it's gone to the New York Giants.
Is that new? I so much is happening in the world.
I know.
Quarterbacks didn't used to move around very much, and it used to be like they would stay with their franchise until they were in their late 30s, and now there's a lot of weird turnover. But yeah, I don't know, he sort of fell off the map a bit after things blew up with Seattle. So
I know. Well, we'll see. I want your team to do well this year. I think of you. I want them to win all the way.
So do I, Rob.
I know you do. Here's to them. And my vitamin-infused water.
Yep. No, we'll see how it goes. So anyhow, the Superman movie that looks interesting. You saw some new footage. That
we saw more footage than they released in the 5 minutes. So, in addition to what you can now watch, there was an extended scene in the Fortress of Solitude where you find out that crypto has destroyed the entirety of the interior of the fortress.
That's funny.
The robots are like, we just don't care about this dog. If the dog is gone, it won't matter to us because we have no feelings about it. It's a pretty good scene. And then you saw a bunch of different images like Superman being interviewed by Lois. And look, I still maintain that we're getting a sort of a Silver Age DC universe that we've never seen before.
And I think Gunn mentioned the Fleischer cartoons.
The Max Fleischer stuff, and
which is like gold. That's golden, but those were a bit different. The Golden Age Superman was a little more ruthless, and he was all business. But he would even be a little cocky as he was defeating his foes. So they definitely seem to be doing like a blend of the different versions. Like obviously he's more of like the modern, compassionate version of the character, but that in terms of like iconography and some of the more outlandish, goofy things from the Silver Age, that definitely seems to be represented. And the world is more comic booky. It's not.
Yeah, and what the funny thing is we've never seen that before.
No.
And as a literally a lifelong comic reader that has read so many different iterations of Superman, I'd say bring it on. I mean, it's everybody talks about the Snyderverse. We got 3 Zack Snyder movies, which I all enjoy. I enjoy them, all 3 of them. But I think what was missing, while the godlike Superman and the Justice League were really interesting, I don't think that those iterations of Superman were fun.
They weren't. And as a character, he was very reserved, and he was kind of mysterious, which is a little. I always think like I didn't hate those movies, but they're a little bit like if you made a dark Santa Claus movie. Like Superman's like he's basically like that type of character. So you could make a dark Santa Claus movie, but it's sort of like it's kind of like a one-off. You could make like a Santa versus Krampus type oddity, but with Superman, it is a little weird. We went like a decade where you had to seriously wonder if you should take your kids to see a Superman movie.
Right.
Like, that is a little bit strange that we were doing that. Like the character, I said, like the Superman has gone through some changes over the years, but he generally isn't as mentally, I don't know, just kind of a dark and unsure of himself the way that character was. So I didn't. It was fine that they did that, but I think that they're getting closer to some. Like you said, even in the Reeve era, it was more of a real world. It was lighter, but they didn't have these talking robots and the whimsical nature of the Fortress of Solitude the way they do now. So I don't think that some of the stuff you might have seen where people are pitting it against the Snyderverse is a real thing. I think that sometimes the internet can be a good way to kind of see which way the wind is blowing, but then there's other times where it will kind of work to raise up the minority crowd who are very loud. And if you engage with any of that on Twitter, for example, the algorithm will just feed you more of that. So it will end up feeling like, oh, half people like this, half the people don't. In reality, like, again, the Snyderverse, the audience kind of abandoned it. Like, the movies weren't making money, people weren't going to it. So I don't think that most people wanted what they were doing then. So, and we don't know how this will do, but I think we'll find out soon if this is like what audiences want. But it's certainly a unique take.
And that's, I think that's that alone is worth waiting for. I mean, I can't wait to see. I mean, the DCEU as well was defined by the Snyderverse. I mean, we got Aquaman, Wonder Woman, The Flash. All those movies had DNA with what Zack Snyder was doing, and it's going to be interesting to see a completely different take on Superman. And people are everyone's complaining about it, but I'm like, just wait to see the film.
Yeah. That's another thing. Like I said, I don't quite know what people who aren't chronically online think about it. Because like it seems, if you just using the internet, it seems pretty mixed. But I don't know. I mean, like, Gunn has a pretty good track record with making crowd pleasing, four quadrant films. So I would think he's probably going to do it again. But we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, like. I think it looks fun. I like the color palette. Some people don't like it, but
I do too. I mean, I like to see the vibrant colors and also
it just looks clean.
And look, I love putting the lenses together to shoot the yellow sun into an injured Superman. I mean, you can't have if a character is invulnerable and he can't be hurt in any way, then he's less interesting. It's harder, but if you can get, I mean, I have when John Byrne took over writing Superman after Crisis on Infinite Earths in the 80s, he sort of depowered Superman, and I like that. I like giving him that are different.
Well, in the Fleischer version we just talked about, like he struggled to even be able to fly. He had to kind of gain his momentum. So I don't know. That's just completely unimportant to me whether or not he feels pain while he's being healed.
Right.
like that is really what we're going to worry about. Far more is going to be the plot, the characterization, the chemistry, how. So we'll see how that goes. And again, with his track record, I think he'll have a good chance of pulling it off.
I do too. I mean, I'm really excited for it, and I can't believe we're getting a new Superman movie and a Fantastic Four movie that's within a couple weeks of each other. That I'm excited. What's not to be excited about? It's let's wait and see if it's good. And after going to CinemaCon, there's a lot of great movies coming down the pike.
Yeah.
Most especially Project Hail Mary, which is the movie I'm most looking forward to seeing. It looks like they made that in grand fashion. So I'm really, really excited for that.
Which I just started reading myself.
How far into it are you?
About 5 chapters in. I can see how it's a book that you could read on a whole on one night, like you did, Rob. Because I think I read those 5 chapters, pretty much back to back. So it's pretty easy to read, but also very compelling and very well. One of those books that you just have to keep going.
I think it's chapter 6.
Okay,
that things change.
All right. Well, I'm getting there. I forgot to mention that if you are watching us on YouTube and would like to contribute a super chat, we're happy to read those here as well. So,
and there's a tip in the tip link too. If you want to use that
tip link,
I just realized I've got to turn that on so I can see it.
Yep. So Rob will have the tips if you want to do those. All right. We have Krizik joining us next. Welcome to the chat, Krizik.
What's up, dude?
What's up, Rob? How you doing?
Doing well. Well.
Well, that is outstanding. I don't have a lot of time today because we all have managed, which, by the way, congratulations on completing what you had to complete.
Oh, yes. It was, yeah. And I just listened last night. I listened to the whole thing compiled into one long program.
It's surreal, isn't it? When you hear it all back in speed.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because it's a whole different listening to it on episode by episode where you have opening and closing credits as opposed to one long program, which doesn't.
Yeah.
And it plays really well. I mean, it's really weird when when you make something, when you're focused on it, you don't really listen to the whole thing at once. So it was I was stuck in traffic coming back from LA. So I was listening to it. I was like, wow, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm super jealous of you because I'm trying to get to that same state of being done. Been working on this thing for what feels like years now. I'm trying to get stuff over the goal line for folks.
Yeah. And now,
now you finally made it. I'm trying to. It's not the same thing, of course, as you know, with productions like audio or even feature films. Games are a bit different because you have different masters you have to get to, and they have a lower bar of like, hey, why isn't it here like a year ago? I need But I wanted to ask you a question because I've been trying to be less cynical these days and trying to enjoy what the kids make. Enjoy, and by kids, I'm saying that to be a bit of an ageist on purpose because I'm
sure.
Anyone that's usually Gen Z, Gen Alpha, a lot of the folks I work with at my studio, in fact, I try my best to be like, hey, they're like, hey, you need to enjoy our things. Like we're trying to be creative, and I see it. I see it everywhere. In fact, I saw it with this film that just came out a few weeks ago, Hell of a Summer.
Right.
I love horror movies. Here's the problem. I think these two fellas, Bill and Finn, I think they did a great job. Of writing and directing this feature of theirs. I think it's their first feature they've done together.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that for them, they had a lot of fun doing it, and I'm never going to take that away from them. As you know, having just completed what you did and what you did with Free Enterprise and all that, if you can get something over the goal line, you won. Yes. I know financially we can argue. You have your detractor. Your number one fan will say, well, did you really win? Like, I'm not going to get into that, but
sure.
At the same time, we know it's an effort to actually get something out there that people can finally judge rightly or wrongfully. That being said, though, I have to be a bit of a Debbie Downer and point out that I'm frustrated because I'm wondering what I can say better to inspire young folks to do more than just get the look. We saw that with Alien Romulus. You see it a little bit here if you haven't seen this film.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
They can get the look in certain ways, the same way that you saw with Alien Romulus, if you saw that, where you get the look of the thing, but when you get into the meat of it, something's missing. Something that what do you call it again? It begins with a V. I think it's
verisimilitude.
Oh, okay, that's it. That's the thing. So that seems to be missing from some of these things. And what ends up happening is you end up getting results like this, where here in the United States, and this is not scientific, this is not me trying to own anybody one way or the other, but it's hard to see. But ultimately, it ends up getting a solid 6. And I think that of all the folks that watched it here in the last week or so, I feel that's a very fair score. It's not going to send anyone to the moon. It's not a Minecraft for whatever that is. But it definitely did its job of being serviceable for whatever fan base it has. And I find that interesting because when you get to, let's say, the UK and Canada, maybe the folks here on the call that are from those areas can tell me, it got more 10s out of 10s than it did here in the States. And I'm not sure if we saw the same film.
Right.
But then it even goes further down to where, and maybe India is an outlier, but there's a lot of people in India that like this film. And again, which film did you and I watch? Because I'm not seeing what you saw for what was meant to be. I think the way they saw it was meant to be a quintessential, oh, this is a classic 80s throwback slasher whodunit type of horror film. I'm not going to tell you the plot of it at all. I'll leave it to you if you want to watch it. But I know they were trying to go for what I'm sure you would see. You know the guy, Brian Trenchard Smith. You know
yeah. Oh man,
his work.
I'm a huge fan.
Dead End Drive-In, right?
Turkey Shoot,
Turkey
aka
Shoot.
Escape 2000.
Damn straight. Now you know exactly the kind of allegorical statements he was making with both that and Dead End Drive-In.
Yeah.
Especially if you watch Dead End Drive-In, you focus on the Asian part of it. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But
I own both of those movies.
Yes, as do I. And that's why I was trying to think, like, can you tell a good story without being so navel-gazing, as some of our other contemporaries in the space would say? And I don't mean to say that meanly. It's just more of, what do we have to do to inspire young folks to not be so inward directed and think more outside of whatever is plus or minus 5 years of their actual space?
Well, that's a really great question. I think, though, you know, we live in a society which is so navel gazing right now, and kids, from the time that they're like, I've talked a lot about this on our show. When I was a kid, I was always looking out away from myself, and I was looking at other people's work, and I was seeking out, whether it was music, whether it was movies, whether it was TV shows. I was looking outward to a universe that I hoped to one day be a part of.
Same.
And I think now it's the actual reverse, where kids are looking inward at themselves, and they're hoping that the world accepts them for who and what they are. And I knew the difference was, I knew that I was going to be defined by what was out there.
Yeah.
And now I think it's the opposite is true. I think that young people today, and if you look at everything is about their identity or how they feel, and they've been like, as a latchkey kid, you know, my father expected me to go out into the world, and he told me that the world was an unkind, dangerous place, and it was going to kick my ass, but it was up to me to go out and figure out how to navigate that. And he was there for me if I needed him to be, but it's a whole different universe. And I find it, what the problem with that, I think, like what you're talking about in terms of the movies today, is even storytelling. It was up to us to learn how stories were told, and you had to become story literate. And I see now a lot of people are just emulating what they've seen, as opposed to really understanding what made what they saw work. Like, people look back at the 80s, and they might get the look and feel of it correct, but because they didn't live through it, it's very surface oriented. They don't understand that what was happening in the 80s wasn't fashion. It wasn't something that you can recreate, because it was a whole era, and it was a whole thing that was happening. And when you're not part of that thing and you're trying to recreate it, you don't really understand what it was. So it becomes, you're just recreating surfaces, and you're not recreating what was really there, was what was underneath those surfaces. And so I think that's, and Finn Wolfhard, you know, he's in Stranger Things, which is the pinnacle of trying to recreate, you know, that 80s vibe, that 80s feel. And it's become a thing, which is weird, because at the end of the day, what really belongs to today's culture? What is today's culture? What is it? And what is it? Is it just trying to recreate what existed before? And without, I mean, Star Trek is a perfect example. You know, they don't understand what Star Trek is. You're just seeing this weird sort of surface pop culture interpretation of what people think Star Trek is, without understanding what it really was at the time. So, and I think kids, it's weird, because it used to be that young people had their own pop culture. They drove pop culture. And now it seems it's the exact opposite, that pop culture is driving kids. Because they're not looking outward for things. They're being molded and shaped by forces outside of themselves, as opposed to going out and doing the molding and the shaping themselves. It's weird. I don't quite get it.
Thank you.
I do.
Oh, sorry, you're up.
No, but it's a really interesting question. You know, it's really compelling. And you read how many articles have we all read about how Gen Z does not do very well in the workplace? And I think that's part of it.
Thank you so much, Grizik. We have a super chat, $10 from Secular Monk. Thank you, Secular Monk, saying happy birthday, Rob. We know it's not your birthday. That's a running joke that's been going for
my real birthday, though, is coming up.
It is coming up. It is coming up. So I have been amused to see my elementary students' excitement for Minecraft. I have been disappointed seeing videos from screenings of the film. Is movie theater etiquette dead?
Well, I don't look. It's like anything else. Movie theater etiquette is taught. You know, it's you have to learn it, just like you have to learn. And again, when everything is, you're looking inward at yourself, you're the only person that matters. And it used to be like, I mean, I was taught when I was a kid, both my father and my grandfather, when you meet somebody new, yes, sir, no, sir, you shake someone's hand, you firm grip, look them straight in the eye. I mean, we were taught you would never do what you did. I mean, sometimes in movie theaters, I guess, but the kind of stuff we saw in the Minecraft movie, it's weird because it's more like, let's all recognize when this memeable moment shows up and we can all throw our popcorn in the air because we have to show everybody else that we know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all weird and performative. And you're like, who's going to clean this up? You know, and that you look at that and you're like, in what universe, if all you care about is yourself, you're not thinking about the fact that somebody has to clean up after you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who would do that? Would you do that in your own house?
Right.
But and I think it's all a byproduct of we it used to be the 70s was the me generation, but now it truly is me, whatever I do or want or think is the most important thing, and no one else is.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a bummer to watch, because this idea that you can go into a public arena and it's okay to just destroy that public arena, and you expect what?
Mm-hmm.
To just have someone else clean up after you?
Right.
And I think that's a big problem with our society in general. I mean, the way people act toward one another now, I can do whatever I want, say whatever I want, you know, and there should be no repercussions.
Yeah.
But I think that's wrong.
Yep. Well, interesting stuff to consider. Secular Monk, thank you again for the donation there.
It's a good question too. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, if I had done something like that, I mean, for me, movie theaters were holy places, so I was somebody that.
Right, and there's a fine line between a genuine reaction to a moment in a movie versus this, which really kind of felt like we're waiting for it to happen so we can go crazy, right? I mean, you compare it to the reaction at the end of Endgame when you hear Falcon say on your left and the gates start to open. That's a genuine moment of surprise, right? It's not wait for the thing so that we can do the thing and capture it on video and post it online.
Yeah, which is all that's about.
Yeah.
And it comes down to just so I can get my online clout,
Mm-hmm.
You know, social decorum and politeness and all that. Civilization itself is less important than you get that memeable moment that you can put online, which I think, you know, if you want to take it even further, if anyone's watched Adolescence, you know, you see there's a lot of talk about the manosphere and what that show details. It's a devastating show, but you have these, especially young men, are lost, you know, and those memeable moments are what they're living for without any. It's almost like it's an amoral, soulless way to live.
Yeah,
and it comes from not having people are not going out into the world and seeking out a life for themselves, and they're trying to carve one out based on what other people think of them or what kind of clout they get online, and that's no way to live.
Yeah. Well, we've got Brian Erdy joining us next. Welcome, Brian. See what new toys.
What new did you get?
What new things do you have? Oh, I see you're wearing a Zorin oil T-shirt. So major.
I know, that's pretty cool.
Major geek points for you on that one.
Thank you. I love this shirt.
That's a deep cut.
It is. It is. Thank God for Redbubble.
Yeah, and by the way, 40th anniversary this year.
Yeah, yeah, great score. I wish I had something exciting and some goodies to show you. I actually skipped.
What a disappointment! Come on, man.
I know.
Jeez, how do you show up here with nothing new?
Yeah, the Atlanta Toy Show was last weekend, and I skipped it. And it's a huge toy show. But
even Roberto Suarez was there.
Really?
Yes,
I was at Toylanta, so we would have run into each other had you shown up.
It's a double disappointment, man.
No worries. It was a lot of fun.
I was hunkered down because I have a hard deadline on something that I've been working on for a couple years, and because I'm releasing a kid's book. I got it.
Oh, cool.
I decided a couple years ago. I had a storage pod delivered to me from my hometown of Columbus. I had stuff in storage for 20 years, and I had it delivered. And I found a drawing that I did when I was 19 years old. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. And I scanned it and threw it up on social media. And I have never had a reaction to something creative that I've done, that I've posted up on social media like I did. This was, that's the picture.
Hang on, let me go to speaker. Wow, that's beautiful.
I had a dozen people reach out and say, that's a cool image. That's kind of unique. But you should do something with that. I want to see more of that.
That's a book cover, man.
That's a book cover. So I had to kind of refresh. And look, if you say to me, you should do a kid's book based on a drawing of yours, I'm like, hold my beer. Okay. I'm all over that. And so I kind of had to relearn how to draw and get better than I currently am. And when I finished it, I showed it around to some people. I have a friend of mine whose sister is a literary agent, and she's like, you have a viable IP here, but you're not Shel Silverstein. It needs color. So I spent a year, hired a guy off Fiverr to teach me how to digitally paint. Okay.
Wow.
So that image that before now looks like this.
Wow. That's impressive, dude.
And
hold that up again. Hold that up again. Wow, that's beautiful. Wow.
So 40 pages.
Where are the t-shirts? I'll buy one of those.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's coming. Trust me. I've got, speaking of Redbubble, I've got the store up. But the point that I wanted to make about getting over carrying on from what the guys were saying earlier about getting over the hump. Last weekend I skipped a toy show so I could finish this up, get it formatted, get it submitted to Amazon. And my girlfriend was showing me some images that she did she was taking pictures of our dog and throwing them into Chat GPT and turning them into cartoons.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, that's cool. And I was like, that's really cool. So I took the black and white images of my book and started throwing them to Chat GPT and said, color these. And it's freaking unbelievable.
Yep.
I mean, I hate it. It's cool, but it's shocking. And I kind of feel like this is my last chance to take something creative that I've done, put it in the form of a kid's book and say, I actually drew this. I actually painted this. Okay. Because the first thing I started worrying about is just like, if ChatGPT can color my book better than I did, where's the creative muse going to end up in 10 years?
Well, yeah, that's the real question. My friend Michael Davis, who directed the movie Shoot 'Em Up, he hand animated a feature film about Richard Nixon solving the Kennedy assassination called Nixed.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But because he's an artist himself, he's been using his animation style and then using AI to regenerate. He's using it as a tool, and he's getting some amazing results. But it's still his. I think the combination of the two. I mean, but it's a really interesting question. The real threat that I see here is you did draw it and you did come up with this imagery in the first place. But in 10 years, if no one knows how to draw and no one knows how to use color, how is anyone going to be discerning about artwork? Like, will there be any comic artists anymore? Will there be graphic artists at all? And if you don't have to learn the underlying principles of, say, anatomy,
Right.
you know, and that's one of the things, if you want to become an animator or you want to become a comic artist, you have to understand human anatomy. If you don't understand those things, you're not going to know whether what you look at is good or bad. And I read an article this morning when I got up about how Gen Z, our generation, I guess, is being put out to pasture in terms of work. That everybody who's in the creative fields, that if you worked in advertising or you were a copywriter or a graphic designer, all of those jobs are being eliminated because of AI. And what are you going to do? You know,
Right.
You're going to go back, and people are talking about, well, they became a yoga teacher or something. And I even thinking about what I just finished, this audio drama. All I need is an actor to come in and like talk to me for a half an hour. I can digitize their voice and I could make an entire audio drama, and it wouldn't be as good, I don't think, as what I have now. Eventually it will be. Eventually and then, so what is all I have to do is have an actor come in, pay him, whatever, and have a conversation with him for a half an hour. But I don't want to do that. I think what's going to be really interesting is, are we going to live in a world where, I mean, again, it's up to humanity. I keep going back to the book that Yuval Harari wrote, which is *Sapiens*, which is 100,000-year history of humanity. And at the end of that book, he poses the question: who do we want to be? He poses the question to all of the human race, and we're gonna have to make that decision. We're gonna have to decide: are we going to value art, and are we going to value humanity's participation in art? Because what is art if not to contextualize human existence in some way? But if you're going to only have AI make art, it'll look good, but does it have really any meaning? I mean, I'm after the singularity, and if AI becomes self-aware, I'd be much more interested in seeing self-aware AI's interpretation of what their universe is like.
Sure.
That's when we're going to see something really insane. Because if you don't have a corporeal form, how do you view the world? And it'll be, but I don't know, man. I think it's a great question that you're asking. I mean, look what happened to Miyazaki, Studio Ghibli, or Ghibli. All of a sudden, there's an AI generator that can turn anything into Miyazaki's animation. It makes everything look like. So does Miyazaki have any recourse? It's his life's work, and I don't know the answer to this. But the one thing, like, nothing's going to replace. I mean, I guess you're going to have robots that could do this, but having a jazz trio in a cafe or a bar at 2:00 in the morning in Paris, in a smoky room, when you have a glass of wine and a pretty lady and some nice jazz, is that ever going to be replaced by AI? So you're still going to need people who know how to play their instruments. So maybe maybe things will just change. I don't know. But you gotta finish your book. You gotta get that book out there so you have something that is uniquely yours.
Thank you.
And I would paint it. I would, you could use AI to color it, and it might be different, but I don't necessarily think it's better. You might be able to get it done quicker, and especially maybe all you have to do is paint the various colors on all your different things and feed those into AI and use AI as a tool. But try and maintain it to be as uniquely you as possible. So what you've learned over the last years is there. It's in the imagery, and you'll be more satisfied with that anyway.
Thank you, Brian. Good to see you, Brian.
It's all an existential question. I mean, how long before we all just give up? I mean, it's going to be like, I was watching the new season of Black Mirror, and it touches on a lot of this. People are going to just put themselves in their favorite movies. You want to be Luke Skywalker, you can go be Luke Skywalker.
Rob, have you read the series of books, or I've only read one of them, by Oh, I'm spacing on his name right now. Ian Banks.
The culture
books.
I've only read 2 of them.
Consider Phlebas is the one that I've read.
People keep telling me to read. I did not read that.
So it's an interesting book, but there is this basically post-scarcity culture that is run by AI. And so then there's this like a race that is very much kind of primal and driven by a religious belief. And so they kind of come into, there's this war going on between these two things. And their complaint about the post-scarcity society is that they don't need to do anything anymore. They just kind of exist, and AI takes care of everything. But some people say, well, yeah, that's great. We don't have to worry about. We're not hungry anymore. We're not starving. Everybody has a decent standard of living. We don't have to do anything. We can just do what we want if we want to do it. So it's a very interesting take on it, where this, there's something to the struggle of living in a life where you have to work for what you're doing for, that people are willing to fight for that.
Yeah, I mean, in Star Trek, you get in starships and you go see what's out in the universe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that, I don't know. I like, it's going to be really interesting. I just like making things.
Yeah.
And when you make things when you work with people to create, like, this audio drama is 5 hours long and it didn't exist a year ago.
Yeah.
And there's 25 actors that I got to work with, and I got to work with my entire sound team and a composer, and we literally conjured something out of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm working with Max Allan Collins' his script, and it's funny. I think that a lot of people in the world, it wouldn't appeal to them to even try and do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never done anything I'd never made an audio drama before.
Right.
And I it's just gratifying to have something finished. And a lot of people, it'll just be like, whatever, they'll never listen to it.
Yeah.
They won't. There's a lot of people that say, yeah, but it's not a movie.
Yeah. Where are the pictures?
Yeah. So why'd you buy? Like, there's one review on the IMDb where the person says, oh, it's really good, but why isn't this a movie or a TV show? And I love that criticism.
Yeah.
because we didn't have like tens of millions of dollars to make a TV show, so we made an audio drama.
Exactly. Yeah.
From your mouth to God's ears, because
put up the money and we'll do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's but it's funny that he questioned why doing it in the first place.
Yeah. But that could also speak to the fact that it's so well done that they're like, if you're going to invest in doing something this well, why isn't it a movie, right? Like, they might not understand that there was some real effort put into getting what you could get, right? As opposed to think, hey, you did this.
And the irony would be, when I go to people that can make a movie or a TV series happen, they're going to say to me, but what do you know about making a movie or TV show?
Right.
All you've done is an audio drama.
Yeah.
So it's
the catch-22.
Storytelling is storytelling.
Yeah.
Right. People either get it or they don't.
Yeah. Well, Kelvin Wellborn knows a thing or two about stories that come in DVDs and Blu-rays and 4Ks, especially when it comes to down under markets. So, Kelvin, what do you have for us today?
Thank you, Roberto. What an introduction.
There you go. I'm working on trying to work on my segue. So welcome, Kelvin.
I'm just like everyone else, worried about import duties and tariffs and why.
I mean, it's why I didn't think about this 2 months ago. Why am I thinking about it now? But yeah, I'm worried about getting my action figures. I'm worried about getting Blu-rays. I'm worried about getting everything. Why am I worrying about this? Why?
I learned only a few weeks ago that it actually imprints ViaVisions and Umbrella's discs actually come from that plant in Mexico.
Yes.
I didn't know that. So I thought, so in a sense, we'll be buying from them, but it'll be cheaper than, and all those US discs, I'm going to have to go to a Canadian supplier rather than a US supplier.
Well, I mean, the idea behind tariffs would be to bring back American manufacturing and bring it here locally. No one is going to build a Blu-ray replication facility in the United States.
No,
they're just not.
No.
They're not going to do it. There's a reason why there isn't one here now.
That's right.
And it's like, and if they did build one, let's say they did build one, it would be all automated.
Exactly.
You know,
no workers there.
It's just a weird. It's a weird, like, it doesn't work that way. How long until a plant would be online to start manufacturing?
I can tell
not until discs went out of favor anyway, until the whole disc market was over.
I mean, I can tell you that they built a Moderna factory near my work. For COVID, they said we're going to have one in Australia, so they built one. It took about 18 months, but that's a medical facility, not
right.
So it's like, oh well, who knows? But I do have a couple of good things. I've bought a few things. It's like going crazy here, Sometimes I did buy.
There you go. I haven't.
Did
you watch? I haven't seen that. Is that the TV show and the movie, or just the show?
It's the movie.
It is the movie. Okay.
2004, Christopher Smith and Frank.
It's the Christopher. Yeah. He's a really interesting filmmaker.
Because there's my earlier DVD.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm going to buy it. So I bought that. Which I watched it last weekend and it was great again. I've seen it about 3 times or something now. But very scary places, the Tube can be very
right. There's a lot. There's that great scene in American Werewolf in London. And then there's what was that movie? Not Midnight Meat Train, although I do love Midnight Meat Train.
Deathline.
What's it? No, it's called what's it called? It's from the 70s. There's a creature that lives in the. I'm drawing a blank on the name of the movie, but it has.
I can recommend another train-related movie called Howl, which is Howl, Howl.
Yeah,
it's very good. But actually, they do reference it in those movies. In they have this. Where are we? Yeah, they have Mind the Gap: A History of British Locomotive Horror.
Wow.
So they
That's
go through
very
a whole
specific.
They go through a whole bunch of different train-related horror movies, or even just generally films like from 1896 and the trains arriving at the station. People were running in fear.
They never see. Yeah, they never see. Have you ever seen a movie? It's like a disaster movie where there's like a plague on board a train called the Cassandra Crossing.
Yes, yeah.
That movie's dope.
Richard Harris.
Yeah, it's got an all-star cast. I have that on Blu-ray.
There was actually another train-related film, which is sort of like a spin-off of Snakes on a Plane. There was one which had, I can't remember what it was, another train-related sort of like Animal Attack or something. It's just
I mean, there's a lot. There's obviously Train to Busan, which is the best.
That's right. Oh yeah, can't go wrong with it. Anyway, one of the other things that did arrive is this.
Oh yeah,
four-sided triangle.
The second big Hammer box set.
Yes, I've already got Shatter on pre-order at the moment, so that should. You're getting all these hints that I think we're going to get things like Quatermass Experiment and.
Well, I want Quatermass and I want Vampire Circus.
Oh yes.
They got to give me Vampire Circus. I love Vampire Circus. It's one of my favorite Hammer movies.
It's funny with that one because they had they reduced the shooting schedule, so there's some stuff that was dropped out, which was really disappointing. I have met Lala Ward, who of course played one of the vampire twins, and of course Dave Prowse, the strong man.
The strong, yeah. But I'm all about the blue leopard lady who's totally naked. I love that.
Oh, that is awesome. That is so awesome. That is. Now, yes, I've started watching.
Oh, how is that? I have that. Is it good?
I've watched 2 of the 5 so far, and I think the first one, The Haunting of Rosalind, is very good. Despite Susan Sarandon being on the front cover, she's not the star of that. She's the second leading lady.
Yeah.
It's a bit like David McCallum. He's not actually the star. It's Vincent Gardenia, which I didn't know.
Wow.
But that so far has been quite fun, and it's videotape, so
yeah, it's cool to have that. Oh yeah, I got mine right here.
I know, I saw you. I do have before we cut off. I do have my latest book has arrived.
Oh, nice. I just spilled on my.
Oh, that is nice, isn't it? To spill your stuff
everywhere. But by the way, this set is great.
Oh, look, I have seen 1,000 Eyes of Dr. Mabuse because I had the all-day entertainment release from many years ago. So I've
got steel books of those.
Oh, okay.
Old steel books.
I'm looking forward to the Crimpy set as well.
Yeah.
I do have one other thing quickly before I.
Yeah.
I did see Black Bag. It's now about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Do you like it?
I loved it. I thought it was
great too.
It's if you like George Smiley and the John le Carré books.
Yeah, it was great. I really loved it.
So, and there's a man who's supposed to be retired.
Yeah, I know, right?
Anyway, thanks once again, Rob. And I have been reading your Facebook posts about learning some interesting things about the United States that I didn't know.
Well, that's that. I love that.
So,
it's funny. All the people that complain about those posts don't read them. I'm like that. You can tell, like they just are mad that Heather. I mean, that woman she's a noted historian who says, frankly, that she's not. She doesn't have a political affiliation. She's more
documenting a point by point what's happening.
Yeah, and it's.
Oh.
States scene, because I'll probably look at my phone and see that I'm a union activist and I'll be deported.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's I keep thinking that someone's gonna list for the last 25 years.
See you later, Rob. See ya. Anyway, on that note, see you later, Rob. Thanks.
All right,
good to see you, Kelvin.
Good to see you, man.
Thanks, Roberto.
Take care. That's hilarious. And I have not taken Kelvin off screen. Where did he go? I lost him on the.
I can't lose my plastruct cement.
There we go. Remove pin. Hello. Can you hear me, Rob?
I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. I think we're having
Ian Holmes said an alien. Yes, I can hear you.
We had a little disturbance in the force in the internet. So for a moment there, I thought the conversation or the stream was getting dropped, but it looks like we are okay. So
convincing the studios to give him the money to fix Rook.
Yeah.
In this for the typical media release, it's so much. He looks so much better.
Yeah,
he's closer to like Tarkin in Rogue One. So
yeah,
much more. It's much more tolerable.
Yeah,
like it. So props to Fetty, and nice special features too with the, some deleted and extended scenes, and so nice behind the scenes stuff, and a fun little like him and Ridley just talking about Alien and stuff. It was really cool, and I realized I didn't have Unforgiven, so after Gene Hackman passed, I was like, oh, I gotta fix that. So
yeah,
I had to get the
great
4K
disc.
Look forward to rewatching that. And when I realized that, I saw I could do it with the sale. I didn't have, because I have the first two Police Story movies. I didn't have Super Cop from '88 in 4K.
So good.
Yeah, so that was a nice pickup. And I hopped right on the pre-order. I pre-ordered Dark City directly from Arrow on their site, and I almost missed out on the Tombstone because it's like Amazon is like their pre-order is gone right now. Thankfully, I checked Barnes and Noble, and Barnes and Noble still got pre-order up for it, so I pre-ordered it from Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, I'm surprised at how quickly that sold out.
I think it's because Val passing is probably what made it sell even more.
Yeah,
like it probably would have sold really well regardless because of how many people love Tombstone, but Val passing just before this was released probably spurred that it sold even better than it probably would have because he passed.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting to the point where if you don't pre-order stuff, you might not get it. Like
I had for the Life Force, I had to go to eBay. I had to buy. I bought it from a seller in Australia. In order to get it. It was a decent price. It's like he sold at a decent price, and then it's like I had to pay like $20 for the shipping to get it from Australia.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Arrow, the Man with No Name trilogy. I had to just like immediately order all three of those, and
Fistful of Dollars got delayed. I saw.
Yeah. But only a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, you have to get those. And
I had to jump on the Dark City. I was like, that's one of my favorite movies. It's like I was like, and both cuts in 4K. It's like
again though, I only ever watched the director's cut of that. Because the theatrical gives away the ending.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if I ever recommend that movie to people, I'm like, do not watch the theatrical cut because the theatrical cut gives away the twist.
Which I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, it's like watch the director's cut because it keeps the mystery going for a lot more before you find out where they really are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for that. I haven't watched the director's cut in a long time, so it'll be nice to rewatch that.
Yeah, it's great.
And when I say that, I'm excited because all the early reviews from Bill Hunt, everybody is saying that the Tombstone 4K is awesome.
Yeah,
it looks awesome. So I'm really happy.
Yeah, I got a shipping notice. I don't know if it comes today or somebody sent it to me. Whoever got it from, I got it early, so it's coming.
You're lucky. It's like some people are getting I saw notices online that Amazon's telling them they might not get it until like next month.
Yeah. Well, that's happened to me on a lot. Amazon used to be day and date. Now I can't trust them.
Yeah, it's tough. I decided to get it even though it doesn't have like the extended cut that was on. I have that Vista DVD that's got the extended cut of Tombstone on it. I'm holding on to that because that's not on this release.
No.
And also they didn't port over Cosmatos's audio commentary from that.
Right.
Yeah. They brought over like all the behind the scenes stuff, but not his commentary track. So it's like I was like, I think I still have it. I found it last night. So I'm like, I'm holding on to that. It's like that's not going anywhere. Maybe hopefully Kurt Russell will work on like a proper like extended cut.
Oh, I'd love that.
Because they cut out it sounds like they lost like a good like almost like 45 minutes to an hour of footage that they had to cut out to get it to because Buena Vista Disney was like, you got to get this to about 2 hours, guys. It's like we don't want a 2.5 to 3 hour movie.
I would love somebody to revisit it, and go in there and
because there's some nice scenes in the director's cut that's on the old DVD. That are good inclusions, especially like the one where you find it's like because like Joanna Pacula's character Kate just disappears, but there's a scene in the director's cut that explains why she just vanishes.
Yep.
it's like, so like that's kind of like, that's important. That's good stuff that shouldn't have been cut out. But
I totally agree.
So can't wait. I love that movie. I rewatched it recently. Danica did like a watch along. She was like on her Twitch. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. That's like, so I just watched. It's like he's so good in that movie. I'm gonna rewatch some of his other stuff because I got the Heat in 4K, and I definitely should pick up some of his other movies. Like I don't have like Top Secret or Real Genius. I need to fix that. But
Oh yeah, Real Genius is great in 4K.
I heard the 4K was really good, so
it's really good.
Get big hands on it. All right, thanks to Rob.
All right, man.
Hey, thank
I
you,
will
Justin.
See you later, Justin. Always good to see you. And our major, our favorite retired Air Force major is here today. What's up?
And by the way, apologies, Rob, for can you not hear me?
I was at a space conference last week.
Oh,
I know. How'd that go?
Pretty good.
Now they're going to defund NASA.
I don't know.
They can't do it.
We'll see. But I got some stuff, and I figured before I send it to you, I'd show it to you and give me thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh.
So, you said you liked the blue tags, right?
I do. I like all the tags, but these blue tags are cool.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. It got spun around.
Yeah. You were giving free. So these are the blue ones.
Yeah, those are.
And these are the not blue ones.
Those are amazing.
So I'll send these to you.
I'll take them.
Okay.
I'm going to start hanging them all around the house.
You want socks?
Always. I always need socks.
And these have spaceships on them.
Yeah, I'll take them.
Okay.
I'll wear them as dress socks.
I got you another squishy moon.
Yeah, the dogs tear those things apart. I make a mistake at dropping those. Those are great.
So I got you another one, but you drop it. I'm not getting you any more.
Okay, thank you. They're good.
And then this is pretty neat. It's a koozie. But I love this because it says Moonraker launching in 2026.
Wow.
So, there's something in here I'm going to leave as a surprise, but I know you said you like the little notebooks.
I love them.
So I thought Nightwing,
leader of the Teen Titans.
Yeah. But so as I was walking the exhibitor hall, one of the vendors was like, you put your face in front of a camera, and it had software where it looked at your face, and then the software did the edge definition, and then it translated it down to a robotic arm, and it drew your face. And I said, well, if I showed it a picture, would it pick up the face and draw it? So I put your face against a picture of your face.
Wow.
Against it, and it drew you.
That's pretty amazing.
So.
Wow. See how long until the robots can be that jazz trio at in the French cafes late at night. That's interesting.
So, and
I'm scared.
Lots of neat stuff at the space conference. They had like 3 different companies presented lunar rovers. Firefly, who recently did the Blue Glow lander on the moon, had a mock-up of that at this conference. A company called Vast had a mock-up of a commercial space station module. It's supposed to be the follow-on to the International Space Station.
Wow.
So I went into that mock-up. It was interesting. So a lot of neat things coming down the pipe in terms of space technology.
That's cool. What was the mood? Were people optimistic about the future?
Yeah, I will say there weren't as many people at this conference as there were in the past, because there was the government travel restrictions. There were still some people there, like the upper level muckety mucks were able to attend. But there were what we call delegations from say 24 countries
Wow.
there.
Probably all fly in private now to escape the TCA. ICE.
So, but you know, so in fact, it was interesting. I was standing in line for one of the receptions, and I spoke to a German botanist, and he does experiments where he sends stuff into space to see how, you know, how to grow things in space.
Right.
Yeah, and I mentioned Project Hail Mary, and he's like, "Oh, I don't even have a TV." And I said, "Well, it's a movie; it's going to come out." And he's like, "I just stay home and read science papers." He said he did watch The Martian, and he's like, "I have a problem with The Martian, but the."
Come on, man. He's got to lighten up.
He's got to lighten up, but you know, because he had an issue with the potatoes. You know, but
hey, man, the movie's about a botanist. He should be happy that his profession is getting.
No, but he had to pick that apart. So
he's just jealous he's not Mark Watney.
Probably.
That's what it is. It always comes down. It's always jealousy. It always comes down to it. But have you watched anything recently that you liked?
Let's see, that I liked. Not new stuff. I saw Death of a Unicorn. I was disappointed in that.
I saw stuff I got to read. Don't think I've forgotten about your letters. I just haven't done observations.
That's okay. Yeah, Death of a Unicorn, I didn't particularly like. Old stuff, you know, Wages of Fear. I really liked that.
So good.
I watched Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3 last night.
The original?
Yes.
How great is that movie?
Oh, that is awesome. Those first beats of music, opening scenes, that just grabbed me immediately. Let's see. I watched 1995 BBC production of Persuasion with Kieran Hines and Amanda Root. I watch that one all the time. Rewatched Bullet Train. Let's see. So
I like Bullet Train. It was fun.
Oh yeah. I probably watched it a dozen times, if not more.
Oh.
And I read the book.
Oh, okay.
Which is totally different.
Different. I'm sure.
It's a Japanese book, so it has very much Japanese sensibilities, Japanese humor.
Right. Yeah.
So, and I it's on my list to read the other 2 books in the trilogy. So.
Yeah, I like that movie a lot.
Rob, are you able to hear me?
So,
hello.
I guess your time is up.
Yes, our time is up.
Our time is up. It's
You
always
can't
so
hear me
with you.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, it's always thanks for the pre-thanks for the bag of goodness.
Hello.
I do love them.
Okay, well, you're gonna get a whole bunch.
And I love that all the different companies make them.
Testing.
The Australian Space Agency. I mean, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I try to hit the ones that had said something different or made a little bit differently. So
yeah, I love that. I love those. All right. Well, I will see you. Or I guess I'll see you. I'll read your letters in the next couple of days. And yeah. So there you go. And now all the way from Sweden, we got Stubble.
Oh.
What's going on, man?
Stubble's good.
Oh, it's good. I've been working a lot. Haven't had time to read anything, basically.
What is going on?
Is work good?
Yeah. You know, it's daily grind. But I must ask you.
Testing.
Project Hail Mary.
Hello.
Yeah.
What can you tell me?
Well, it looks terrible. They showed us at CinemaCon It's what opened the Amazon, the MGM reel. They didn't even say anything. They just started. All I wanted to see at CinemaCon was Project Hail Mary. I thought they'd show us. I don't know. I didn't expect. They showed us all stuff from the first 6 chapters of. They set up what's going on. At the end, everything in it looks great. The female character, the main female that you keep going back, the administrator, 1, 2, that other character. I don't know. I've never seen that. I don't think I've ever seen that actress before, but she's perfectly cast. And Ryan Gosling nails it. But the coolest thing, and I kept talking about this, they did show when Gosling's ship they meets up with Rocky's ship. And the effects are astonishing. And it was shot by Greg Fraser, who shot Dune. And so when you see the 2 ships next to each other, it looks like the alien ship looked really alien. It looked, I tried to describe it as, it looks like the inside of a piano mixed with the Sulaco from Aliens. So it's all like brass and metals, and it was just awesome. And the only thing that they showed was Gosling's like, oh my God, it's an alien ship. And you just kind of see the shadow coming in. They don't show anything of Rocky, which was great. I'm glad they didn't, because I don't think they should show. The trailer was so compelling. I don't think they should show Rocky at all. But someone's going to be like, all you have to do is hear Gosling freak out over the fact that there's an alien craft. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
And it looks so good. And I was saying, I'm like, it's going to win Best Picture.
Yeah.
At the 2020, everyone's like, well, no, Christopher Nolan's going to win for Odyssey. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't care how good Odyssey is.
Yeah. I hope they don't, solve the communication stuff in like 1 minute or something.
No, I think that's so. It's so the movie has to have all that. Yeah. I think it has to have all the difficulties. I hope they go through it all, and I hope it ends like the book. Because I want to sit in a theater full of people with that ending.
Yeah, it was a little bit of melancholy, but a feel-good ending.
Yes. Yeah. I loved I was like, how are they going to end this book? And I love the way it ended. I love I want to see that ending.
Yeah. I got a hot toy.
Really?
It arrived.
Wow, look at that. That is chonky. That is a chonky boy.
Yeah.
Wow. Hold it. Wow, look at that.
So it's
God, how many pages are those?
I don't know how much this is, but the original is like 1,200 pages or something.
Wow.
But they couldn't physically bind it in one leather volume. They had to split it in 2. Yeah. But
wow,
this from the video I sent you.
Yeah.
Half a year ago or whatever. So I've been waiting on this from November when it started.
Wow.
So I was one of the last who got it. But 102,000, over 102,000.
Wow.
So
God, I wonder how much they all cost to print.
Probably a lot.
Yeah, those are not cheap books.
No, I sent you an image or two on the DM. Then
okay.
You can check out later.
Yeah.
But, I was thinking about the whole tariff thing with China, and I thought all these Kickstarters who have got a lot of funding. And all of a sudden, their prices for printing all this stuff will go through the roof.
Yeah, it's bad.
It will be like half the Kickstarter projects will be just canceled.
Yeah, it's also stupid. The whole thing is, look, I get the idea. The idea is a sound idea, but what they're looking to have happen is just not going. It's not the world today. No. We're not going to go back 50 years. I mean, the manufacturing thing has sailed. That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
And it's so weird to me that, I mean, China owns so much of American debt that the last thing, like, why do we want to get in a trade war with a country that could cripple our economy if they call in their markers? I mean, it's such a weird.
Yeah. By the way, did you watch? I sent you that collection, a movie collection, a month or two ago.
Yeah, I've got it right here. It's right here, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
I have not watched it.
No, I was just wondering. No pressure.
I am going to watch it though, but it's right next to me.
Yeah. And I've started on a book that's pretty terrifies me. The scope of it.
Is it a scary book or just the scope of it terrifies you?
The scope of it is terrifying. But I don't know if it was, how it will go, but I'm excited about it.
Who wrote it?
Me, I'm going to.
Oh, you're going to write it?
Yeah, but, it will take a while.
Chop, chop, son. Let's get it done. Let's get her done. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Have you outlined it? How do you even, I've always wanted to write a book, but I've never even tried it.
Yeah, I'm not, I have a lot of ideas and we'll see what happens. But I don't want to talk too much about it. Because,
no, that's good. But do it. Make it happen.
Let's say that distant future, but the Roman pantheons of gods, they are now it's a pantheon of gods that's more what do you call it, interstellar in nature.
Right. Okay.
So you have, for the fundamental fabric of space and time, you have one deity, and you have one for, like the biological instincts, and one for light and so on. And yeah, it's right in my head. I just have to get it down on paper. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's about it. I think my time is up, and I know we have a time dictator on.
I know.
Hey, can you hear me now? Can you hear me, Rob?
We can hear you.
Oh my God, I've been fixing my audio here, but hey, you ended your own time. That wasn't me. You were the one who called it just now, Stovall. So, but yeah, sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties.
I'm just pulling your leg, Robert.
I know, Stovall. I know. It's all in good fun, and I love to hear more about the ideas that you have and the story that you'll be coming up with.
Yeah. Right. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time.
All right,
you
man.
too. We'll see you next time.
We go from Sweden to Portugal with Mario Lopez. And we just have to unmute you.
Yeah. I thought you were.
Oh, you're gonna.
Are you gonna do it, Rob? I can do it. I'm happy to do it too.
Go ahead. He's unmuted, right?
Hi.
Yep. There we go.
There he is. What's up, dude?
Hi, Rob.
How you been?
long time no see.
Yeah. How's your mom?
My mom is fine.
All right.
I hope yours is too.
It was her birthday yesterday. She turned 86.
Oh, happy birthday to her.
Yeah. Mom's 86.
I don't have a lot of time, so I have some kind of statement.
Uh-oh.
I know that you will not agree with me, but I'm going to try to say it.
Okay.
As you know, I'm kind of a Snyder fan. I know. But when you talk about the Snyder Cut and the Zack Snyder's vision, I really do not agree with you. From the place I come, and as a European, for me, DC is dark and is more adult than Marvel. Anyway, for me, superhero movies are kind of over. And why is that? When the Justice League, the Snyder Cut of Justice League, when that movement I subscribe it. HBO. I still have that subscription.
Yeah,
it was a great success.
it was.
Unfortunately, Warner Brothers chose to make the Snyder fans their enemies. It was not us; it was them. And what we see a James Gunn universe. We see a Joaquin Phoenix universe, a Robert Pattinson universe, but we don't see the completion of the Snyderverse. I cannot understand why they don't give us that bone, that carrot. I know that the ship has sailed too far, but they should do that in an animation or a CGI format. And if they did that, I would choose to support this new Superman movie. In spite that I do not agree with the James Gunn vision. For me, the Snyder vision and the way Superman is portrayed in Man of Steel, that's the correct vision. So I will not support this new movie because they do not support what I want as a customer. Well, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, look, I think that getting the Snyder cut of Justice League was a huge win for fandom. And the thing was that the problem, and as I always said, at first, until there was HBO Max, there was no one who was going to pay for that. You know, there's a lot of people that always accused us of saying that, like, I knew that the Zack Snyder's vision was not finished. Like, he finally said, I've got a black and white copy of it on my laptop. And I was telling people it's going to cost tens of millions of dollars to finish. And they gave him that money because they had HBO Max. So there was a place where they could justify that expenditure. But the problem is the Zack Snyder films underperformed in terms of what the studio, like the studio expected Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice to be $1 billion grossing film. It was very, very expensive to make that movie. Yeah. Very expensive. So it didn't earn its keep. And obviously the version of Justice League they released to the theaters was also a tremendous disappointment. So there's no way to justify the kind of expenditure it would cost to make another Justice League movie, because and that's the real problem. And I look, would I like to see the end of that movie? Yeah. But I think that it's great that we have three of Zack Snyder's those movies, because like I've always loved Man of Steel, and I've looked at Man of Steel as a science fiction movie more than it is a Superman movie. It's more of an alien first contact story, and I love the beginning of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice when Bruce Wayne runs into Metropolis during the Zod's attack is one of my favorite things in any superhero movie ever.
But wouldn't it be a good idea to tell the Snyder fans that we are going to complete the Snyderverse in an animation movie? And
I mean, maybe
maybe they could have a success with the new Superman movie, because I think that most of the Snyder fans are not going to support this movie. They are not. I will not. And
well, I mean, look, if the movie
for them to,
if people love
everyone.
But if the movie is good and people love it, you're going to see it.
No.
Yeah, you are. Come on. Why wouldn't you go see a movie that's good? A Superman movie that's good?
Because I'm a customer that is not happy.
Right. But the thing is, you're standing on, like, you got the Snyder version of Justice League.
Yes.
And that's what that was something that was never, ever, 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 ever going to happen. And the HBO Max, and when David Zaslav took over, they got to make it, and to me that was a huge win. And then everybody's like, well, let him finish his vision. So I just was like, I don't see there's any possible way. Maybe in animation, maybe.
It's the only way.
Yeah, but I don't know if Zack Snyder wants to spend 2 years of his life doing that, because he's got all of his own original stuff that he's got his The Gods animated series now that's on Netflix. He did four Rebel Moon movies, the 2 different versions of each. He's got a bunch of stuff that he wants to do. and I don't even know if he would want to go back and revisit that. I don't know.
Like, it would be a great marketing approach to the public to announce something like that. It would be huge.
But I think that the studio has now, I mean, you've got Supergirl's in production, Superman is coming out. They're about to announce their Brave and the Bold movie where they're going to have their own Batman, the DCEU Batman. I mean, I'm curious to see what it's going to be like. I mean, it's going to be a totally different thing, and I think that's interesting, you know. And having a trilogy of movies is from an economic standpoint a good thing, and Zack Snyder has that. I mean, he was able to go back, and they treated like we got the extended version of Batman v Superman. You know, Man of Steel's in 3D on home video, and I mean, I think that we got as much as we could possibly have hoped for from that, and I just don't see a world where that's ever going to happen. But you never know. In this day and age, I'm always surprised by what happens.
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea for Warner Brothers to reunite all the fans, and that would be a way. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I just think they're too invested in this other direction that they're going in, and I hope it's good.
They spent so much money, so many visions. The Robert Pattinson. Why spend money in there when they could finish the Snyderverse? That's my opinion.
Because it's expensive, whereas a new Batman movie isn't as expensive.
Yes. But in an animation style, it wouldn't be expensive.
Well, no, but I don't know if Zack Snyder would want to do it animated. I mean, he might.
He might.
He might. Well, it's always good to see you. And even though we might disagree, that's okay. It's always good to see you, and tell your mom hello for me from Los Angeles. And I will see you later.
You know, Rob, they did do the Batman 89 comic book series and the Superman 78 comic book series.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a future in some kind of Snyderverse comic book series that completes the story.
Yeah, I mean, there could be.
And the other issue with Mario's comment about why invest in the Batman? Well, the Batman was a critical and fan hit, right?
And it didn't cost as much money as a Justice League movie would.
It didn't cost as much, and it was a return on the investment. I mean, they got their money back on that one and then some. So. And a successful TV series out of it. Too.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, the Penguin was dope.
Yeah. So
I would say that the Penguin was one of the great superhero spin-offs, or one of the great sequels. Because it's definitely a sequel.
It's the sequel to the Batman, basically.
Yeah, and it's one of the great sequels of all time.
Yeah. We have a couple of just quick, announcements because Captain Robert April has been a member for 32 months. So thank you so much for that. And Aaron Singh is here and became a YouTube member. So I think Aaron's been a member in the past. He may have renewed. So welcome back, Aaron. Good to have you back. All right. Again, sorry for the technical difficulties earlier, folks. Hopefully, we got about 10 minutes until we get off the air. So what we'll do is we'll take one more call and then we'll get it off the air. So Victor Griggs is the next person on my list here. So Victor's
coming to town.
Welcome
to LA.
And you think you should be able to unmute yourself now, Victor?
If he's there.
If you're there, are you there, Victor? Could he have stepped away for a moment? What we can do
I do have his book, though.
Oh, there you are.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Victor. Welcome.
How y'all doing?
Hanging in there, buddy. You're coming to LA, huh? Bringing your mom?
Yeah. The 24th, and we're coming back on the 29th.
Well, we're gonna have to go out. I told you, I'm gonna buy you a meal and get you hammered.
Oh, that'll be interesting. You might not want to see me dancing on the table.
Yeah, no, I do want to see you dancing on the table, and I'm going to make it. I'm going to make you you're going to go viral on all of social media.
You know what? That's what she says.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. And while you're doing that, I'll talk to your mom if you know what I'm saying. All right, I think you do.
Be careful, I'm right there. I'll slap you if I have to.
Yeah, well, I'll protect her honor. But you do have to sign my book.
I will for sure. It'll be my honor. First of all, congratulations on getting True Award done.
It was a long road, not as long as the road of the NX-01 in the when they were in the third season of Enterprise, but it was a long time. It was a long time, and I'm glad.
Because as Rob always says, everyone has a story to tell. And you have a unique story, so I look forward to both you and Rob's book.
Yeah, I mean, and I like the idea. I like Stubble's idea of a spacefaring race of gods. I mean, I think that's a great.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I'm always you did. Since there's scenes with characters in an audio drama that go on, like the final in episode 9, there's like a 15-minute conversation between David Strathairn's Frank Nitti and Michael Rosenbaum's Nathan Heller, and you would never see that in a movie. They would never. So, and they weren't together when they recorded that scene. They were working with actors. So in my own mind, I had to sort of imagine what it was like to have these two characters, because I have to edit it to make it sound like they were together in the same room.
Right.
So I was purely concentrating on the inflection of their voices and their performances. And it was really interesting because there is no visual component of it. So you're concentrating on different things. When you're watching an actor act in a scene, it's not just what they're saying and how they're saying it, but it's how are they moving? Where are they going? What if their eyes blink in the wrong place, it could offset their dialogue, their performance. So it's you have to pay attention to 1,000 different additional things in addition to the performance But with an audio drama, all you have to pay attention to is the dialogue and the feeling, the emotion. And I'll tell you something that was sort of interesting. When I was directing, one of the first people I wanted to hire was Bill Sadler, who plays General Dawes in True Noir. And he was in like Shawshank Redemption. He was the villain in Die Hard 2. And I'd worked with him before in our movie The Hills Run Red. And when I first recorded him, he was one of the first people we recorded. He seemed to me, his performance seemed to me that it wasn't as operatic, I guess, as I'd wanted it. Well, I was totally wrong about that, because when I went back and was editing his performance, it was amazing. Like, his performance is so good. And because he was one of the first people that I recorded, I needed to readjust what I expected from the actors, because if he was the way that I thought he should have been at first, he would have been way too over the top. He knew as an actor way more about what he was doing in his performance than I did at the time, because he was one of the very first people that so his instinct to how to play that character was better than my own. And it really taught me a lesson about these audio dramas, because people have a tendency to go over the top, and I had to make sure that wasn't the case. And so that is what I'm most proud of in the whole audio drama, is just how good the performances are.
Well, it was brilliantly done, and I can't wait for the Blu-ray, because I know there'll be a lot of behind-the-scenes goodies. I wouldn't mind. Do I need to pre-order that as well as the Blu-ray?
No, I'll make sure you can get one. I'll send it to you.
Okay, thank you. Brilliant job, Rob, you and your team. And I can't wait to hang out with you when I'm in California. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna go out and it's gonna be fun. And again, I'm gonna get you hammered and make embarrassing videos of you, and I'm gonna put them on social media. And you're gonna become a star, and I'm gonna monetize you. Yeah. So, and not share any of the revenue.
Well, I guess that's fair, since you helped me with advertise my book. So
yeah, there you go. That we'll do the whole thing. We'll have to do a repressing, because I don't know if there's any more left at Amazon. And once you're a viral sensation, we'll do a second printing of your book with a new cover. We'll have to do a hardcover. Make some more money. By the way, I won't send you any of that money either. I'll just have it filtered right into my own PayPal account. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna make you rich.
Thank you. Keep up the good work, Rob.
All right, Victor. Well, I'm gonna see you in 2 weeks.
All right, sounds good. I'll email you the dates.
Yeah, please do. And where you're gonna be staying and stuff.
All right, I will. Thank you.
All right, Victor. I'll see you later, man.
All right, love you. Bye.
All right.
So, thanks for stopping by as always, Victor. Great to see you.
He thinks I'm kidding. Victor thinks I'm kidding. I'm going to tell him I'm going to turn him into a viral sensation.
Rob, I think we should call it on the stream. It's already been 2 hours. My internet keeps conking out on me. I don't know what's going on. So maybe it's time to take it off the stream. So thank you to everyone who joined us here on YouTube. But if you are in the Zoom call because you are a channel member, the chat will continue, and you'll be able to continue engaging here with the community and with Rob. So any last messages to share with our YouTube friends?
Just thanks everybody for supporting the channel and all that. And if you haven't picked up True Noir, go pick up True Noir, truenoir.co. And I'm working on the soundtrack album. I'm working on, which by the way is really good. And the Blu-ray and the script book and all the other stuff that we owe the donors. But you'll be able to, if you didn't donate, you'll still be able to pick that stuff up. The soundtrack album alone is worth getting. It's really, really good.
All right. Well, again, thanks everybody for joining us. Sorry again for the technical difficulties. And those of us on the stream, stay tuned. We will continue the chat in a moment here. So thank you so much.